6-mark quadratic inequalities question from a past paper, and in total 6 marks. So let's have a go. It says the diagram shows a parallelogram. Here it is. The area of the parallelogram is greater than 15 centimeters squared. Show that this statement is true. Okay, now, how do we find the area of a parallelogram? Well, generally speaking, it is base times vertical height. The area of a parallelogram is the same as the rectangle. But they haven't given us this perpendicular height. So we're going to use the fact that we have this 150-degree angle and form two congruent triangles. Congruent meaning that these two triangles that are formed are the exact same. So I'm going to use half AB sine C. So my area of a triangle is a half AB sine C. It also works for right angled triangles. It's just in a right angled triangle, the angle is 90 degrees. Sine of 90 is 1. So you get half AB, which is just half base times height. Now, that, using this formula, would be for one triangle. For two triangles, we're just going to double that. So my area would be this multiplied by 2, which actually just gets rid of the half. So my area is just AB sine C, where the angle is 150, and my A and B are 10 minus x and 2x minus 1. So I have 10 minus x times 2x minus 1 sine of 150 degrees. Now this question most likely would be in a calculator paper because of sine of 150 degrees. But if they're being naughty, this could actually come up in a non-calculator paper, because sine of 150 degrees, even though it is an exact trig ratio, but it's not the standard ones. I'll show you really quickly what it is. That's my sine graph between 0 and 180. 150 is here. That's 30 degrees away from 180, which means it's the exact same value as 30 degrees in from 0, which you guys need to know that's a half. Okay? So sine of 150 is a half, sine of 30 is a half. And sine of 30 is a value you need to know for your GCSEs. But I'm just going to take this as a non-calculator, as a calculator paper, and I'm going to say this is a half. Okay, so we have A, sine of 50 is 1/2. Now we're going to start expanding. So we have 10 times 2x is 20x. 10 times minus 1 is minus 10. Then we have minus 2x squared. And then we have this being plus x. Okay, so my area is a half. Let's just start simplifying. So we have 20x plus x is 21x minus 10. And then we have minus 2x squared. So that's my area. And the question has said that the area is greater than what, 15. So this is greater than 15. All right. Now what students would do here is they would multiply in half. Guys, get rid of this half. We don't like fractions. Let's just multiply both sides by 2. Remember, we only need to multiply the half by 2 because with this bracket, this is all one term. Okay, if it was like this, yes, you would have to multiply everything by 2. But this is all one term. We just need to multiply the coefficient by 2, so that goes. So my area, which is this 21x minus 10 minus 2x squared, is larger than 30. Now, we're going to make the x squared positive by moving that to the right side. So all of this is going to move over. So I'm going to get 0. Minus 2x squared on the other side is 2x squared. This plus 21, I'm going to move it to the other side, is minus 21 eggs. Then this minus 10, when we move it to the other side, becomes plus 10. 30 plus 10 is 40. Okay. Look at this. Can you see we have written that the x squared term is on the left side. So imagine you're taking this and you're just moving it around. Remember, you're saying 2x squared is less than 0. So you just write it the other way around. And you have your answer. Okay, part B. Quite hefty for 3 marks. What we're going to do here is worth a lot less than 3 marks. And, well, it's a lot less work than this, but worth the same amount of marks. How do we solve this? factorizing. Oi oi. Now, if it is a calculator paper, you guys can use your quadratic formula, but Bun AC, let's revise how to factorize the mathematician's way. What multiplies to give you 2x squared? Well, 2's prime, so it's to be 2 and 1, 2x and x. Now we need our options for 40. My options are 1 and 40, 2 and 20, not 3, 4 and 10, 5 and 8, not 6, not 7, then we get back to 8. Right. Always go for the option closest together. 5 and 8. That 8 cannot go in the first bracket, because if I had an 8 here, I'd have 2 and 8. They're both even. You'd be able to factorize out 2, but you can't factorize out 2 from here. So no even numbers are allowed in this bracket. So 8 has to go here, 5 here. Now we do the oi oi method. We multiply the outer. 2x times 8 is 16x. And then here we have 5 times x, which is 5x. How does 16x and 5x make minus 21? Well, that's if they're both negative. Minus, minus. Okay? Now, we need to find the solutions which would allow this quadratic to be less than 0. I always recommend you do a sketch. So, let's find out what the roots are. If it said equals 0, we would have 2x minus 5 equals 0, and x minus 8 equals 0. Here you would add the 5, so you get 2x is 5, then divide by 2. X is 5 over 2. Here you would add the 8 over. X is 8. Okay, so my graph, well, they're both positive to be fair, so let's look over here. Yeah, I could do a little bit of a negative side. So we have 5 over 2, which is 2.5, and 8. So it looks something like this. Okay. Now, we then have to look at when the graph is less than 0. This is talking about the y values. When are the y values less than 0? Well, here, all the y values are positive. Here is where the y values are negative. So it's these solutions that we are interested in. We're going to write down what x values define these negative y values. Well, it's the x values between 5 over 2 and 8. Okay, and that's your answer. So x has to be between. Now remember, it can't equal 5 over 2 and 8. And that is your solution for 6 marks. Past exam question. It would be regarded as a very tough question at GCSE if you're aiming for the top grades. But guys, hopefully you learned something today. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe for more maths content. If you're interested in my GCSE maths courses, more details in the description. And feel free to join the Lung Gang Reddit page on Reddit if you want to submit your own questions and get feedback from my community. I'll see you in the next video. Nice.